Hi, gang. Welcome back to another episode of Media Champions. I'm your host, Mary Trace Griffin in Atlanta. Today, we're so excited to take you over to London. That's where we're going to find Ariel Brooks Benz. She is with BB3 Advertising. Welcome, Ariel, to the program.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for saying yes, and thanks for what you do. You guys are doing it fantastically. Let's talk about what you do at BB3 Advertising and how this world of media and marketing is changing so quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. So I always say our team was sort of born in the TV space. That's a lot of our background. But over the last 12 years, we've obviously had to evolve. About 10 years ago, when sort of the CTV space started to open up with the first ad-supported provider, Hulu, we were one of the first to kind of jump into that arena. And then, of course, ever since then, we've brought on everything from digital to influencer marketing. And all of our services are really born out of the necessity of our clients, as they were going out into the marketplace, coming from a response-driven agency, which is what the services that we provide. They were going out and trying out these new mediums and not finding that sort of same level of competitive research, as well as sort of data integration and ensuring that they're really working against their ROI. And so our team basically went out and evolved and brought in new experts along the way. And we basically, I would say, we're probably one of the most nimble teams I've worked with in my career, which makes it really fun and really exciting.
I'm always curious to know, especially when we have new friends from other parts of the world working in media and marketing. I like to ask this about COVID because the entire planet was affected by COVID. We all had to learn how to solve for X, if you will. How did going through the COVID-19 experience affect what you guys do with your marketing and media team? And how'd you come out of it in the end?
Yeah, it was an interesting time. I had to tell a lot of our clients as we were going into it, it was really uncharted territory for everyone, for the networks, for the providers, for the tech companies and advertising agencies, as well as brands that were having to pivot and start entirely new lines of business or moving from brick and mortar to online. So it really kind of brought everybody into this sort of wild, wild west, throughout the playbook, go and figure out what's working today, what worked 6 months ago. Tried and true doesn't mean it's going to work for you this time around. What was really cool about that is that, we got to get really creative, and we're really lucky to have some fantastic clients that trusted us to get creative as we were kind of going through this evolution. And that allowed us to go out there and research new technology and try new mediums and even try new strategies within the mediums that we had been using for a long time. We have clients that range from, products that have been on air for 30 years, services that have been established in the US for a long time, to sort of new e-commerce brands that had just really launched in the beginning of 2019 and going into 2020, who sort of had no idea what to do with this new landscape. So for us, it was sort of a seize the opportunity moment. And yes, there were a lot of clients that had to, take a step back and evaluate, pivot, and decide the best way forward. And then there were a lot of clients that were sort of on that edge of technology already, where we were able to just really quickly shift them in new directions with new strategies and try and find new ways to reach their consumers with sort of time appropriate messaging in a way that did not feel intrusive and felt supportive. And that kind of gave our team a whole new sort of lust for life, because of the fact that it really introduced some really cool and interesting new things in the media space.
Well, it certainly is a very fun time right now to be in our world, because there is such a garden variety out there. My last question for you, Ariel, has to do with social media. And I'm curious to know, how, in your mind, does social media differ between B2B and B2C? Because it is very different, and you're working in quite the variety in that arena.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's an interesting space. Social media, when we think about it, we think the big ones, the Instagram, Facebook, now TikTok, Twitter, and really the difference is that we use the different mediums for different parts of our business. So a lot of our B2B clients, we work in the social arena more on in the sort of Twitter and LinkedIn space, to be honest. Increasingly, we're seeing some of our B2B clients getting in front of the consumers on Facebook and Instagram, but it's still fairly traditional in the B2B space. The direct to consumer space, that's where things get a lot more fun in the social arena. And that's because we get to do a lot more with not only paid advertising, which we're doing with both our B2B and B2C, but we also get to work a lot more with influencers. And what that has allowed us to do, it's allowed us to create much more authentic content using people, real people, your next door neighbor, the person down the block, talking about your brand, talking about your products, sharing their experiences in a way that we relate to, in a way that doesn't feel sort of like an imposition. It's actually somebody opening up their like sort of secret to you. And I think that has sort of created an environment that is sort of ripe for new creative ideas and sort of new ways of telling our stories that we can't do in a more traditional platform like television, where you have long lead time, where you have to create creatives and the messaging and timing and longer lead time for media placement. That social space allows you to sort of move really quickly and work with lots of different kinds of talent to kind of get your messaging across in a new way.
Well, anybody that is able to hook up with your company is truly blessed, because you guys are doing fantastic things. Ariel, we're out of time, but thank you for being on Media Champions. And I do hope you'll come back so we can continue the discussion. I think you guys are great.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. For the rest of you, you're going to want to check out BB3 Advertising over in London, England. We can connect you with Ariel and her company. All you got to do by finding her is find us right here at dailyadbrief.com. I'm Mary Trace Griffin in Atlanta. We'll see you next time for more Media Champions.
Simplify presents Addressable CTV, combining the power of TV with the targeting and attribution of digital. Simplify's Addressable CTV delivers massive reach with the ability to scale without sacrificing precision. TV buyers can generate incremental reach with household-level targeting, frequency controls, reporting, and insights. To learn more about Simplify's Addressable CTV and what it can do for your clients, visit simply.fi.